Hello, welcome to Sagittarius season. So we have 3 piles. You've got rose quartz, fluorite, and then you've got selenite. So take a deep breath and choose your pile. So these are the cards that we have for pile 1, which is rose quartz. So if you just hold on, I'll get to the reading. Hi, welcome to Sagittarius season. So this is the reading for the heart chakra. So the first card that you've got is when I lean on the universe, when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. And this is from the Universe Has Your Back deck. And then the next one is Star Mother. And this is asking you, how can you mother yourself? So the more that you're held, then you're more than held than you could possibly imagine, loved and cherished so dearly. If you knew you would not spend 1 second of your life in separation, worry or fear. Let the mother carry your burden. Let her rock away your fears, lay all your worries, regrets, shame and guilt on her altar. Please, 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 sweet child, do not fear. You are love in motion. If you allow it, you are already helped, and let her remind you of your goodness. Let her love away your fears. So this is really lovely. So this could be, you could, allow yourself to be held and cared for, and as the card says, allow yourself to be mothered. It's also saying that you've got this as well, and you can also mother yourself. It's saying that you've got this, this mother. It could be your mother, it could be you mothering yourself or mothering your inner child, and she's there to look after you. Which kind of goes really well when you lean into faith of the universe. It's like leaning in is kind of like allowing someone to support you as well. And this card is about leaning in and allowing the mother to support you. Then you've got Judgment. So Judgment's a really good card. This one, she looks really happy actually. She's playing a flute. Now Judgment can mean a judgment against you. It can mean that you're judging yourself as well. It can also mean that a judgment's going to go in your favour. So whatever else is happening in your life at the moment, or what's going to happen in Sagittarius season, is allowing yourself to, I'd say for this is don't judge yourself. Don't let that judgment. Allow yourself to be cared for and mothered if that's what you need, which kind of goes really well with rose quartz, because rose quartz is a really loving stone. It's all about self-love. It's all about calling in love and nurturing you. So that kind of goes well with it. And then we've got the wheel. Now the wheel is the Wheel of Fortune. So this card is about a new beginning. It can also be the end of any obstacles, or if things have kind of been held up in some way, things are going to start turning in your favour. So it's like the end of delays, it's change. It can also be a change of direction for happiness, and it can also be as well like the Wheel of Fortune can be it generally shows different things. It kind of shows a wheel like a compass, and it shows different aspects of what is it that's going to go in your fortune, what is it that's going to start moving for you, what is it that's going to start, what cycle's going to start moving through as well. So that's a really nice card. So I hope you enjoy this message, and I'm going to move on to pile 2 now. Welcome to pile 2, which is fluorite. So I will post the meaning later. Hi, welcome to pile 2, which is fluorite. Beautiful stone is this one. This is more of a greeny one. And the first card that we've got is the moment I embrace my peace within and surrender, the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. So that's a really nice meaning. And then the second card that we've got is the Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? Okay, so the Priestess is a teacher dedicated to service, freedom and leadership. You don't need to have it all together to lead. In fact, it helps if you don't. No one wants a perfect angel who hasn't made any mistakes. So let your life be your message. Don't underestimate the power of sharing your story. It's by hearing someone else's journey that we feel less alone. And I think that is really powerful and really important, because sometimes I think we feel that we've got to have everything perfect. Like, how can you heal people if you're not fully healed yourself? But then it's never a one-stop destination, is it? It's an ongoing process. So that's a really nice message. We realise that we're actually all in the thing called life together, and the difference between a follower and a leader is that a leader has the courage to go first in stepping out. They shine a light on the path for others to venture forward to. Don't fret too much about trying to work out who is your tribe. Don't get stuck in age, income, hobbies, or occupation. The best way to discover your tribe is to look in the mirror. If you feel called to lead, chances are it's because at some point in your life you longed for someone to lead you. Your tribe are longing for exactly the same thing right now. You were and are and might be the one to step behind you. Hell, they may even be right alongside you. You don't need anyone's permission. Now, this is the pile that I picked, actually. I picked this one, and even though this is a different card, the High Priestess is one of my favourite cards, that along with the Empress. So that's a really nice message. And I suppose it kind of goes as well with the first one. It's about surrendering, isn't it? Surrendering to the moment and surrendering to what it is that you want to do, rather than looking at the outcome of something. So if you've been called to lead, to stand up, to run a program, whatever it is, teach, it's kind of saying that you don't necessarily have to have everything in place. You can start by just sharing a message. So I'm going to listen to this one. The next is the Nine of Wands. Now, in this picture, she's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wands. I think, is it 7 on the floor? Yeah. She looks like she's had quite a battle, and she's kind of got her back against the tree, and it is kind of, the wands are very much about creativity and movement and action. So she looks like she's kind of feeling very worn out, battle weary, maybe even burnt out. So this card is, I suppose that I would suggest that it's probably time to kind of step back, and you don't necessarily have to fight any more battles. Maybe just allow yourself to reach or feel the purpose, maybe, because the 10 is completion, and it's always about asking people to help you. But this one is, she just looks like she's been fighting too many battles, and she just needs to, it could even be battles within yourself. If you are wanting to teach and lead people, maybe you're kind of having this inner dialogue thinking, well, I'm just too worn out. How can I help people when I'm in the thick of it? But you'd be surprised, as that card said, you don't have to have everything in place. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. It's just about you sharing your message. And then along with that, because I love the way the cards come together, we've got the King of Michael. So this can be a man in your life, but obviously it can also be a situation as well, and it can be you embodying this energy. And it's all about wisdom and objectivity. Now, the King of Michael is very ambitious. Kings are always very established. He's very rational. He would be very good at analysing and thinking about things rather than being too emotional. He's ambitious, very good at communicating. But it's also about staying in your integrity as well, and being, like, this could be with your message if that's what you're wanting to do, or even if you just wanted to communicate with someone, think about integrity, what that means for you. Also, how can you share your message? And it's also about being very honest as well, and being very honest with the communication, which does fit in with the Priestess, about if you wanted to share a message. And I also think as well that the King leads as well, so have that confidence in yourself. And yeah, I can also see the yellow as well, which for me is the solar plexus, which is very much about standing in your own power, standing in your personal power, and believing in yourself, and believing that you're worthy of sharing a message or just communicating to somebody. It doesn't have to be putting yourself out there. It could just be communicating what it is that you need. For example, if you do feel that you need to take a step back and rest because you just feel completely overwhelmed, then it's being able to communicate that message to people. So I hope you enjoyed those cards. And now I'm going to move on to the third pile, which is Selenite. Welcome to pile 3, which is Selenite. So these are the cards that I've pulled, and let's move on to the meanings. Hi, so welcome to pile 3, which is Selenite. So the first card we have is, I always trust the direction of the universe and know I'm being guided. That's a nice message. And then the second one we have is initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, so some of the most sacred initiation chambers and temples look scary from the outside, but are breathtakingly beautiful on the inside. This represents the journey that the soul pilgrim is required to take to reach somewhere sacred. But only the initiated can enter. Perhaps that's where you are right now. You're being tested, initiated because you're headed somewhere sacred. Initiations require that we cross the threshold from one world or state of being to the next. We are called to face what scares us and have to be willing to lose it all in order to gain a new way of being, of safety, of security, of depth, of meaning. Initiations like rites of passages mark the shift from one age to the next. You could say going into Pluto. Aquarius going into Pluto, sorry, is part of this, I suppose you could say. And it seems that going through this hardship, that our heart cracks open and our spirit is invested to step forward. We take the sacred voyage into more of what we are and who we came here to be. It can be painful and scary, but once we begin the journey, we can be more ourselves than ever before. So if you're in the middle of an initiation right now, you will get through it, and one day soon, you will bless the thing that broke you down and cracked you open, because the world needs you open. You are going somewhere sacred. It will be worth it, and you're closer than you think. So this can be a little bit like the death card, even though that's not an initiation. It is a transition. And you could say, and you know, things can break down and move away in order for something new to come forward. So you could say that this is what the message of this card is all about. And then the next one we have is the Tower. So the Tower, in this case, it shows what I assume is a witch's tower. It looks like Rapunzel's tower, doesn't it? Now, sometimes it can mean crashing and burning. It can mean chaos. It can mean destruction. And it can mean that, you know, things can implode around you. Jobs are lost, relationships implode, we lose friendships, etc. But then you also have to look at it as in, depending on where this fits in your life, if it's a job, a relationship, a house, a place that you live in, that disaster might be coming, but this is always something that you're aware of. Or if your tower has already gone, it's like, what can you learn from this experience? In some of the descriptions for this card, it is that you're aware that this is going to happen, and that sometimes things have to crumble away in order for something new and positive to come into our life. So, you know, what can rise from out of the ashes? Like in this picture, she looks quite happy actually, doesn't she? She doesn't look sad, even though her tower or her house has crumbled. She doesn't look sad. She's like kind of in, you know, in the midst of this mess. Maybe she's thinking, okay, so maybe something better's on the horizon. So how can you prepare yourself? Because this card is about preparation. You're aware of it. So how can you prepare for what is coming in? Maybe you had to let go of something in order to get through this process, or what can you build out of the remains? So that is kind of very similar to this card, to the initiation card. And also this one as well is kind of links in with it as well, because you're being guided, and trust the direction that you're being taken in, even though it can be quite difficult. And then the third card we've got, which links in again, I always find it so uncanny when different decks in the piles that we have for each crystal or whatever it is that you pick, they all fit together. So peace is all about releasing the past. It's about transition. It's about letting go. It's about one door's closing and another one is going to open. So again, it's very, very similar to initiation and the Tower. And it's because when we let go and when we go through this transition or this initiation or this change or, you know, what can seem like chaos, that something new is going to come in, and it's going to be a much more enriching future. Even though it might not see it at the time, this is where it's going to expand. And also it's also about trusting the process, which is not always easy, allowing the new phase to come in. And it's also about releasing things from the past as well. So releasing any emotions or expectations, like it says in the first one. Where can you look deep? Where can you what can you learn from this transition, this initiation, this newness that's trying to come into your life? So that was a really interesting reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be posting another one soon. I'm going to do one about travel, because I've never done a spread about travel specifically, so that is the next one I'm going to do. So look on my YouTube channel for it, and have a lovely Sagittarius season.